Oh, thank you.
Okay, let me turn my phone on
Well, here we
silent.
go. So, today's topics, folks, we'll be talking about, let's see, make sure I get it right. The right decision versus the best decision, and also toxic femininity. So, like, we always hear about toxic masculinity, but it's like, what about, is there such thing as toxic femininity? And so,
Hmm.
to help discuss that, we have a brand new guest, Lavender. Isn't that cool,
Hello.
folks? Yes, her name's
Yes, hello
Lavender.
everyone.
Yes. So, okay, first off, um, how does it feel? I'm gonna like say Lavender a lot because I want to get like used
Mhm.
to like your new name.
Of
Um,
course.
so like how does it feel, Lavender, to be to have your own episode on a podcast?
It's actually a dream come true. I love talking, especially about like things that are going on in our personal lives, especially like sex, relationships,
Mm-hmm.
jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
Just love talking. And I have a bunch of friends who also do podcasts. So it's just really exciting and
Sorry,
honoring
say
to
that
be on
last part
one.
again.
It's really exciting and honoring to
No,
be on a podcast.
oh, that's better. No, but I mean like you said something about like your friends.
Oh, a couple of my friends have podcasts now
Oh,
too.
cool.
Yes,
We love it. We love a pod world. We love a pod
we
world.
do. And I
Yes.
mostly listen to podcasts. It's rarely music anymore. It's
Right.
really just podcasts.
Yeah, so like what was that like shift? Like is there something that like made that shift?
From music to podcasts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel a lot of comfort just listening to other people's conversations. And
Mm.
I feel like if the conversation is really good, then I can also be a part of it. Like I'll respond as well as if I'm actually
Even though they
on
can't
a
hear you.
podcast, even though they can't hear me. Yes,
Hey, that's how you
but
do it.
it's just fun. Like you find a couple that you really like, and then you just get to have and listen to conversations with some friends every
Yeah.
week. So
Yes.
I really love that part about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're getting more out of it than, and not saying that, not saying that people can't get, more from music. I mean, can't get things from music.
Anything.
It's just
Hmm.
like from what you're saying for your personal experience is that it's kind of like, you're able to get like more out of it than
Yeah,
music. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like, of course, music has an effect on people. It can definitely make you feel things.
Mhm.
But I feel like with podcasts, it makes me feel more like calm. It
Yeah.
helps ease what's going on in my mind. Just give me something else to focus on rather
Yeah.
than all which and sometimes music can provoke even more thoughts. And it's like, oh, I don't know
Yeah.
if I want to be thinking about this right now. I'm trying to
Hmm.
try not to
Yeah.
be in this mind, you know?
Yeah.
But I like that.
Yes, it's kind of like giving you a different type of, I don't know, it's kind of like you're in like it's like a different form of self-care,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
No, but I feel you. That was me last night when I was like kind of sad. I was up there looking for a sad song just to make it worse.
Hmm.
I
And
did
sometimes
that.
that's great,
Yes, but
like
it
to
can
really like
be
feel those
bad.
feelings. It also can be bad. You
Yes, because it's
can
like
put
you said,
yourself in
like it
like
was great.
a little loop.
Yeah, like it's great to help feel those feelings. However,
Hmm.
there's like a time and a place for that, and I
Hmm.
those lines, those boundaries are blurred. Like I will it
Yeah.
like yes, on one end, like sometimes it can help me, feel my feelings and do what I gotta do, with my feelings. And then there's other times where I know it's gonna like just get me in a spiral downhill, and
Yeah.
I still be looking for it. Mm.
And that reminds me of a point. talking about like toxic femininity,
Mm-hmm.
in music. I I think some of these new artists, like women artists, kind of like Summer Walker, that was the first one that came to mind, and a little bit of SZA.
Mm-hmm.
They're displaying the toxic femininity,
Mm.
you know.
Describe what that
Beca-
is. What toxic femininity
So
is.
to me, I feel like it's the same, or it's like the inverse of toxic masculinity. Like
Mm-hmm.
toxic masculinity is when men they lean too much into their masculinity to where it becomes violent and a problem.
Yeah.
And same thing with
Mm-hmm.
women. We can lean into our femininity and it can become a problem sometimes. We
Mm-hmm.
can put ourselves in situations or make a situation even worse by because we think, oh, well, I'm a woman. This should happen because I am a woman. But
Oh, yeah.
it's you can't be projecting those, oh, you should, I should things on people anymore.
Right.
And then we
Right.
get our feelings hurt and then we do something quote unquote crazy
Mm-hmm.
and then we spiral and then we're labeled
Yeah.
and we're labeled as crazy.
Mm.
So,
Is there
and
like
then
is there like an experience, in your life that kind of like, drew you to that topic? Like like a personal experience. If you want to
hmm,
share.
yeah.
If not, it's
Hmm.
okay. Or is it just
No,
something that you see
it's just something that I've
and
seen.
observed?
I mean,
Yeah.
I've had a couple of toxic women, like toxic girlfriends come in and out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the first one, or like the biggest one, who's like, we're not friends anymore,
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Oh.
because of reasons. But when we became friends, like, it was a situation where we were freshmen in college, and my roommate,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah, and my roommate, we know who we're talking about. We're not going to
Yes.
say any names.
Right.
My roommate was trying to talk to this girl, and she invited her like into our like friend group or whatever one night. And I don't know, instead of paying attention to the person who like invited her,
Mm-hmm.
she kind of like went around to the whole group and made this impression that like, oh, I'm a chill girl. I'm really cool. I'm laid back, really funny, but I'm also kind of one of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like now thinking back on it, kind of pick me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just a little pick me. And I was like, oh, okay, she just wants to be friends. But I think she like women are very in tune with
Mm-hmm.
other people and they can read situations and energies in other people. And I think that she used like that, innate power of hers and kind of fixated on me. She could tell that that I was a little naive
Mm-hmm.
with things and with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she absolutely abused our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
It was, she made me cut off other certain friends to be your friend. We started doing not great things together just
Mm-hmm.
because she was like, hey, let's go do this. And I was like, well, I've never done that before, but if we're friends and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're doing it too, then yeah, I'm gonna go with you. But yeah, she kind of, I feel like preyed on me a little bit, took
Mm.
advantage of our friendship for sure,
Yeah.
and took advantage of my energy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, I mostly see a lot, I think, in media
Yes.
that's
Yeah, we can
very
definitely see.
relevant.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just
Mm-hmm.
interesting because it's like I I don't know, like I don't even know like what to say because like I don't really hear it talked about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think that's really cool that, that topic, um, you wanted to, just bring attention to it and bring like awareness to it. Like, that is a thing. It is a thing.
Yeah.
And, when we confront and face and, acknowledge, you know, um, things,
People's
because you know how they say,
experiences.
hmm.
Like it just acknowledge people's experiences.
Yes, 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 exactly. And because you know how they say like knowledge is power, I also say acknowledge is power. It
I love
also
that.
is. Yeah, because it's like
Yeah.
in order to gain knowledge on something, you have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge,
Mhm.
okay, this is something that's happening, whether I disagree with it or not, this is a reality that is happening, you
Yes.
know? And I'm not saying like I disagree with toxic femininity. I'm just saying that like in general, like there can be some, issues where people are like, um, just because they disagree with it, like them disagreeing with it negates the fact that it's still
That is true.
an issue. Yeah, and so I'm just
Yeah.
like, right, like whether you agree or disagree with something that with an issue, the issue is still there, and it's
Mhm.
just like we see with just I don't know, there's nothing I guess I don't want to say nothing, but there's nothing that comes to my mind when it comes to running away from or refusing to acknowledge that something exists regardless of what it is. It can be mental health, it can be an issue, it could be
Mhm.
um a lot of things, I don't know, it's just I don't see much good come from
Trying to ignore a
pretending.
problem.
Yes, pretending that something's not
Yes.
there. Yeah, and trying to ignore the problem. You know?
I
So,
agree. I feel like a lot of this country is trying to ignore its problems instead of ignore like they know that
mhm,
homelessness is a problem. They know drug abuse is a problem. They know that prison populations are a problem.
mhm, mhm.
But they're not trying to fix that problem
Right, right.
necessarily. I think it's because it's making them money,
Oh, of
right?
course. I, I did a
Like,
policy research study, Queen. But let me not say too
mm.
much because I don't want to get shot. Or maybe I do. It's just like, maybe I do. I've already died before, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
listen, you doing me a favor.
Right.
Right? I was like, you're doing me a favor, so bring it on. Yes, but
Right. Like I want you to.
right. I was like, please do it, cause yes, um,
Mhm.
it yes, it is a for example, incarceration is a $1 billion industry.
Oh
Um,
man.
did you know? I believe it was 20th century. Way back when it was only 300,000 people incarcerated. Now we have
Mhm.
millions.
Yep.
And yes, it is owned by less than 10. It's either 6 or 8, but it's less than 10 really big corporations. Um, the I believe it's the
Private
state prison.
corporations too.
Yes, the private corporations,
Mm.
yes, and they
Mhm.
gain so much money. In fact, just the policy research study that I did, it was very, very, very heartbreaking. It made me want to not do my major
Mhm.
anymore. Um,
Mhm. We
because
did
I
the
was
same major.
yes, but I had switched for my graduate major. I did social work, and that's where I did the policy study. I
Got
had to get
you.
out. I had to switch right back to criminal justice. So that's what I'm doing now.
Mhm.
Again, criminal justice
Mhm.
graduate major. Um,
Snaps.
snaps. But it
Yes, ma'am.
depressed the crap out of me. Like literally, like I remember I skipped class the week after because I was like, I can't do this. Like my heart was so broken. I was like, I'm so passionate
Yeah,
about this because it's like, and it's not like the private corporations don't know what they're doing. They know, you know,
exactly.
yeah. And then on top of that, guess
It's
what?
calculated.
It's so
What?
calculated. Oh, and guess what?
Mhm. What?
Outside, college can be free. College can be free, and no, taxpayers don't got to pay extra. College can be free. They're putting
Mm.
unnecessary amounts
Mhm.
of, dollars in the prison system, you know,
Yes.
that doesn't need to necessarily be there. They're
Be
putting
there.
more in to get more out. Um,
Yes.
so that's what they're doing. So it's just interesting to note that, college can actually be free and taxpayers not have to, increase tax paying. But that's none of my
Yeah.
business, because you know what? It is definitely my
Okay.
business, but I like saying, yeah, it's a lot
It's
that goes
crazy.
into it. That's kind of
Yeah.
like the sum of it. It's obviously more complex than that, but we have
Mhm.
ways to, increase rehabilitation and decrease incarceration. They know
Yes.
that they know rehabilitation and
Mhm.
giving people skills, support, and all that good stuff. They know it's necessary. They know that that can help decrease, crime, uh, decrease the incarcerated
Mhm.
system. Because if it's like we're just locking up the individual, we're not locking down on the root problem. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because they don't want to address the problem.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And do you know how much it costs to have just one person in prison, like in a federal prison, how much money it costs?
It varies from state to state, but it's a lot.
It does. It does. It's around half a mil
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to keep them in the prisons, but the return on that one person in the prison, like
So
3 times, 3 times as much.
exactly. Exactly.
It's
So
that
yes,
slave
college
labor,
can be
you
free.
know?
Exactly. And it's just like these are it's that's what blows my mind, is the fact that, and it I mean, I'm in a good space mentally today, but it's like oftentimes like it just breaks my heart and it gets me like really, really down. And I already suffer from major
Mhm,
depression. So it's just like,
mhm.
and obviously I have medicine and go to therapy and all that great stuff. So it's
That's
like
great.
I'm doing great, but I'm not doing perfect
Mhm,
because nothing's perfect. But
mhm.
you know, depending on the day, just the fact that I know and I've seen so many times ever since I was little that money is made to be more important than a person,
Yes.
and I'm like, I
That is
mean,
the most heartbreaking thing
it's
of
so
this
heartbreaking.
society.
Right, because I'm like,
It
money
really
can
is.
buy you, it can buy you a nice car and everything, and that's great,
Mhm.
and it's great to have money, but it's like a lot of people let money have them. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, there are
Yes.
things that a person can give you that money cannot buy. Like, it's these really important things that money
Yeah.
literally cannot buy. Like, money can't buy you genuine friendship. People that are just around you for the
No.
money, they're not really your friends. Go broke and see who stays.
Right. See how
Okay.
many people talk crap about you or, like, just
Yes.
completely disown you, cut you off, ghost you because you're not useful to them anymore, they're just using you.
Yes.
I really think money is a tool, but
Yes.
people really get obsessed with it and think that it's more than just a tool. Like, money is supposed to help you live life. I don't think you're supposed
Yes.
to live your life to make money,
Mm.
but that's a lot of people's mindset. A lot.
Snaps. Can you say that again really quick? Just so we can.
Let me see if I can remember.
Yes, you're saying.
Yes. So, money is a tool that should help you live. You
Mhm.
should not be living to make money.
S- uh, 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 5 second
Mm.
silence. 'Cause listen, like,
Thank you.
because seriously, literally, mic drop. Because one, I needed to hear that.
Aw.
Okay, I literally needed to hear that. I've not heard
Mm.
anything different literally until you said that. And that is, I literally needed to hear that because I've been kind of like getting
Oh,
like really
yay.
stressed. And I feel like, recently I'm just like, is my life just to live to make money? Because that's what I've been told. That's what all I'm seeing on
Mhm.
media, on social
That's what we're
media.
that's what we've been socialized to
Mm-hmm.
believe
Yeah.
and see and do from our parents, our grandparents, from college.
Yeah.
You have to go to school to make money so you can get a good
Mm-hmm.
job and make money so you can buy a house and you can have a family
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
until you're 60, and then you can start living your life.
Right.
Then you can have fun. But when you really think about it, what 60-year-old, not many 60-year-olds are trying to do the things that 20-year-olds are doing.
Right.
Why would we wait till our later half of life to have fun
Right.
when that's not even promised? That's not
Mm.
even promised. Who knows if I'll be old enough to get the social security that I've been paying into?
Right.
Who
Right.
says that that's not promised?
Right.
So
Who says it's
I'm
even
just
promised to make it to 60? I'm just like,
exactly,
right.
exactly. See,
Yes.
and that kind of brings me into the right decision versus the best decision, right?
Yes.
Because right now I'm kind of going through a career change or a fluctuation.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I was released in a nice way from my job, to say it nicely. And so now I'm doing just part time work, and I'm about to turn 25, which
Yes,
means
queen.
in the US, I will
You
have
still look
one.
19. No, literally, you still look 19. Like, I remember when I first met you in school, and you look so young, and you still look
Yeah, I
19. We
was a
love it.
baby. I was
Yes.
17 when I got to college. I wasn't even 18. I was
Really?
17. Yeah, I was a baby all throughout school, so I am young.
We love it.
But thank you. That's such a compliment.
Oh,
I hope it
yes.
stays that way.
Same.
We're gonna try.
Same here.
But
But yeah, sorry, continue.
yeah. No, you're good. Um, yeah, a little change in my job. Oh yeah. So I'm about to be 25, which means in the US, I will have one more year on my parents' insurance
Yeah.
before I'm kicked off.
Mm,
And my parents are pressuring me to find a career that has insurance.
hmm
And that typically is like a corporate job, you know? And could that be the right decision? Sure, but I don't think that'd be the best decision for me,
mm,
right?
right,
Like, it would be right for me to go ahead and get a 40-hour a week job so I can make a 401k, blah, blah, blah.
right,
But I know in my heart and my soul that I am not trying to work for 20 years straight for one company to maybe move up a little bit
right,
just to get like a little pension or something,
right,
and to have a little health insurance and pay health insurance, not even maybe need it. So I'm
right,
not planning on having kids or anything. So it's like, I'm just really trying to figure out what's best right now.
right.
I know what could be right,
hmm
especially in the eyes of an older generation,
Right.
but what's best
Best. Right.
right now?
Right.
I don't
Because this
know.
is your life. It's kind of like you can always get back. Like if you spend $20, you can always get back
Nice.
$20. If you spend
Yeah,
20 minutes, you can't get back those minutes.
period.
Oh,
Exactly. That's
yeah.
time is way more valuable than money
It really
to
is.
me.
Yeah.
And it should be to a lot of people, but it's not. We're in a capitalist society.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. You cannot get back time. You can always make more money. Money comes and goes. And
Right.
if money is stupid, we're assigning value to pieces of paper and metal. And it's changing now. So like the value
Right.
is even what it is.
Right.
Time time is time.
Right.
We have a limited amount of that.
Right.
And you're absolutely right. We cannot get that back once it's
Right.
spent.
Yeah, that's what I'm just like, when people say time is money, I really thought about it, recently. And by recently, I do mean 2 minutes ago, you know. And I'm like, they say time is money, but I'm like, you can get one back, but you can't get the other back. They're not the same. They're not the
They are
same.
not.
And and then the money is kind of like awarding things is like, it awards, I don't know, money makes things privileges when they're really supposed to be priorities. For example, like mental health should
Ooh,
not be a privilege, it is a priority. Shelter is not a
yes.
privilege, it should be priority. And based
Yes.
off of the policy research that I have done, a lot of it, so much so that I wanted to quit everything. I just wanted to quit and be like, I'm done with these humans. But
Right, I'm gonna become a hermit. Just forget it.
honestly, right? And I'm like, housing for all can be done without,
Mhm.
breaking the bank of, taxpayers.
Literally, the 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 richest man in the States, and I'm not sure who it is, but I'm guessing it's, Jeff is it Bezos? The one who
Yeah,
owns
Jeff
Amazon?
Bezos, he's on his way to be the world's first trillionaire.
Trillionaire. See, I bet 1.5%. I was gonna say 2. I don't even think a whole 2. 1.5% of whatever he makes in a year could solve homelessness,
Yes.
mental health, and
Mhm.
probably help some education somewhere.
Yes.
Probably give some. It would be so little. And like in terms of money, the things I really needed, we're not asking for a lot. Like,
Right.
but the fact that they're still pumping money into like police departments,
Hmm.
stuff that we don't really need. We need like it's really confusing, and it's making it hard for people to make the best decision for themselves
Hmm.
because now they have to figure out how to survive where they
Right.
are. What is the
Yeah.
right decision to make? Because if I make the wrong decision, I could either be in jail, I could be on the street, so many things.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I just don't know what to say right now because it's just like I'm just so exhausted from,
The
like
life
like
that we live.
yes, the lies that we are being told and stuff like that.
Uh,
It's just, and notice that all of these words, are coming from, like it's like they're kind of like a lot of the words are coming from folks who don't have to worry about, ever like losing money. And I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, because
yeah.
and so it's just like these are from people who are not, with four figures in their account. These people have
Hmm.
how much millions in their accounts.
That's so
Yeah,
many zeros.
that's so many
So many.
zeros.
I can't even fathom.
Especially when you're a
I.
billionaire. I don't want to take advice from a billionaire, really. I'm just like, you're coming from a privileged place. I'm
Hmm.
like, you have the privilege to have billions of dollars. You don't know what it's like right now. You know what I mean? It's easy for you to
No.
say time is money and, gotta work hard. There are people that work hard that don't get paid a lot. Hello, nurses,
Okay.
teachers,
Teachers.
construction workers, fast food workers, even because,
Fast food workers,
yes, because,
baristas, baristas,
yes.
bitch. Okay, what? I'm sorry. Can I curse?
Oh, it's vulnerability time. You can say whatever you want. You can literally say whatever you want.
Fucking awesome.
It's
Okay,
hilarious. You said
like
baristas,
more
bitch.
Americans, more Americans drink coffee than water on a daily basis.
Can you
And you're
say
telling me
repeat that
barista?
again? Because people need to hear that. Because I didn't even know that. Repeat that again. Mic drop.
Yes. So Americans drink more coffee than water on a daily basis, like just day to day. Most people
My.
will have 2 to 3 cups of coffee and maybe one water bottle. Maybe. You know?
Wow.
Maybe. Yeah. And
And on top of that, you got
I,
to deal with like
The
some
worst kind of
people,
customers.
the worst customers, like some people just, are having bad days and that kind of like manifest onto someone else, unfortunately. But there are
Hmm.
also those people that are just dicks for no reason, and that
Yeah, they're
just,
just like that.
and because someone's behind a counter with a uniform on, apparently they're less than, so they are treated like that. And I'm just like,
Yeah, that's really weird
it's so
because
weird.
this is the person that's serving you your food, that's giving you your drug for the day, which is coffee. Coffee
Hmm.
is a drug, people.
Yes. Yeah.
That's addictive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have the audacity to not be just like nice to them.
Right. Right.
It it's the simplest thing.
Right.
Just to be like, please and thank you.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
if your order was wrong, you can say it in a calm way, and I'm sure they'd fix it for
Right. It's like
free.
it's gonna get fixed. It's gonna get
It's gonna get
fixed.
fixed.
Yeah.
We
It's just like,
promise. It's okay.
right. It's
Ugh.
just like you're gaining a coffee. You're gaining a
Hmm.
coffee that was messed up, that was wrong, but it's gonna be fixed. So it's like at the end of the day, um, you gave this person attitude, and you don't know that they probably just lost their father in a car accident. And it's just like
Yeah.
you made their day worse. You made their whole week worse.
Yeah.
But you're good though, because it's like you got your cup of coffee. So that's all that matters,
Right.
right? Not the other human being. You
Or
know?
or they think that because their coffee was messed up that they have the right to also mess up someone else's day by
Right.
being a Karen and being
Right.
aggressively mean.
Right.
It's like, no, you don't
Yeah.
get that. And it's like you get to go home or you get to go to your job, your little cushy job or whatever. That person has to stay there for probably another 6 or 7 hours and just take orders for a
Right.
lot less than probably what you're making.
Right.
So like
Yeah. And
be
it's
nice
like,
to the people who give you your food.
yeah. And and if someone is rude, it costs nothing to apologize, because being rude, it's gonna happen, it's inevitable.
Hmm.
But it's just like it costs nothing to apologize to that person. It costs nothing but a pride and ego
Yeah.
to just say, I was rude, I apologize.
Pride and ego. That's a really good one. And I think
Aaron, Lavender's like, oh, we're doing that for another episode. Aaron's like, part two.
please part 2.
Yes.
But the ego and the pride thing, jumping back to like toxic femininity and masculinity,
Hmm.
that I think like the ego especially is probably what tips it into toxic. And you know, there's good men, there's bad men, there's good women, there's bad women.
Hmm.
I I think just toxicity is in
Yeah.
all of us.
Yeah.
And however we lean, either masculine or feminine, that's probably how we're going to express our
Right.
toxic traits,
Yeah.
right? But the ego.
Hmm.
People talk about men having really big egos, and they do, but women's egos, that will
Mm.
also cause us to do some really messed up things.
Mm.
Really, really messed up. That's when you get the like the ex-girlfriend who goes and like slashes tires, who
Hmm.
goes burns clothes and throws away shoes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's your ego hurt.
Did you see that
It's like
video? This guy cheated on his girlfriend. So the girlfriend got his mother's ashes and threw it over the bridge. She like opened it up and threw it over the bridge. Isn't that horrible? Like I looked at that, I was like, I mean, I was shocked. I didn't think it was real at first, but then I found out it was real.
my jaw is on the floor right
The
now.
floor.
That's
That's insane.
wow. That's somebody's mother. All you had to do was leave them. Just say bye. Fuck you,
Yeah, she
bye.
threw her ashes. I mean, yeah, she threw her ashes.
Wow.
And it was really windy that day too, so it was just going
Oh,
everywhere. But
oh my god.
yeah.
That's disgusting on so many levels.
Yeah, that's
Like
crazy.
I don't know who that person is, but I imagine that they'll probably think about that for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
Like that. Mm,
yeah,
mm,
it's pretty bad, isn't it? Yeah, it's just like, yeah,
yes,
that's pretty
that's
bad.
the worst.
I bet he's like, I'd take a slash tire over that any day.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Please
that's
burn my Jordans. Do not
right,
touch my mother. Don't touch my dead mother.
right. Yes. Oh, also
Wow.
going back to like the best decision versus the right decision. So like,
Mhm.
so like, I don't know. I wanted to just hear your thoughts on this. So
Mhm.
obviously, beating someone with a bat is completely wrong.
Yes.
Obviously. However,
Mhm.
when we put
There's
that
always some
into,
nuance.
yeah, and put some
I said there's always some
nuance,
nuance.
some context and stuff,
Yes. Yes.
for example, like my father was very abusive.
Mm.
Extremely. Like that man didn't try. That man beat the shit out of me all the time. He tried to starve me. He left me in a hot car.
Yeah.
He didn't he's a all because like of something that I can't choose. Like that
Yes.
man was horrible to me. And one day I got
Mhm.
fed up with it, and so like I grabbed my bat under my
Mhm.
bed, and I was like, if he
Mhm.
comes in this room and just beats the living crap out of me for no reason, you know, I'm
Mhm.
going to beat him with this bat. Now, the bat was really, really little. I got it at an Astros game. And mind you, I was still a little kid,
Yeah.
and he came in the room um, because he was going to beat me again, just because he wants to.
Mhm.
And he
Yeah.
had
Like
this
you knew
crazy.
what was happening, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Like you knew what was about to happen, unfortunately.
Exactly. And he came in the room with this crazy look that he has on his face all the time, and he took
Mhm.
the bat and he broke it over his knee, you know.
Oh.
Um, yeah, but it's kind of like the it's kind of like going back to like the best decision versus the right decision. Like obviously
Mhm.
the right thing to do is to let me think of another example because I want to like kind of like go deep with it. Yeah, the right
Yeah.
thing to do is to not like stab someone or beat them over the head in the with the pan. However, if
Mhm.
this is a domestic violence situation and
Mhm.
the significant other is tired of getting beaten on, and they
Mhm.
finally snap and defend themselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that happens to be defending themselves by, beating this person with the pen and stabbing them to get away from them. You know what I mean? It's just
Mhm.
like, so it's just like, it makes me look at the incarceration system. And I was like, a
Absolutely.
lot of people in there obviously didn't do the quote unquote right thing, but they did the best thing.
They
There's so much reality behind the
Yes.
mugshot.
Yes. Yes. That
That was
part.
what my McNair
That
research was on.
part. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. And then
Yes.
it's also like, who defines right? Right? Who's saying this is right and this is wrong? And why are we
Right.
listening to those people? You're
Mm.
absolutely right. Because, like, they didn't do the right thing according to some fucked up, made up racist laws, but they did the best thing because they had to survive in whatever situation that they were in.
Mm.
And whether that was unfortunately selling drugs or unfortunately stealing some money
Exactly.
from someone or writing bad checks, like they were
Exactly.
doing what they thought was best for them in that time. You're
Right.
absolutely fucking right.
Right. And exactly, if
Mhm.
everything could be done the quote unquote right way, then a lot of problems we just wouldn't have. But I'm just like, we got
Mhm.
to really look at the reality of things, and things are so complex. Things are not so black and white as right and wrong. Things are so
Yes.
and it's just like, obviously the wrong thing is well, the quote unquote right thing is to say no to drugs. You know what I mean? However, what's the
Mhm.
best for that person, in that instance is to, do a drug because listen, because like they're on fire, they're going through something mentally and it's tormenting them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like they're looking to use anything to put the fire out that is within them. And people are like,
Mhm.
that's wrong. And I'm like, you know what else is also wrong? Um, when people say, well, like, why don't they just go to counseling, or why don't they just go to psychiatrist and get some meds, and I was like, you know what else is wrong? How much is charged to get that without insurance and with insurance? I was like, medication
Mhm.
is overly expensive. It does not need to be that expensive. It literally does not, policy speaking, and just
Yeah.
humanly speaking, it does not need to be that
Mhm.
much, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
what's also wrong is the wait to get a psychiatrist, 6 months. And
Mhm.
then also, what else is not right is, why does a 30-minute appointment cost $600
Right.
to get a
And for you to be late
medicine?
to the appointment.
Exactly. And it's like, yeah, that appointment $600 for 30 minutes. And then it's like, you know, um, to prescribe a medication that you have to pay for outside of that 600 that might not even work. And so it's like you got to come
Mhm.
back to the psychiatrist.
Do
It's
another $600 session. Get prescribed more
yes,
medicine that may or may not work.
exactly. So
Yes.
the whole thing is, you know, this is not negating. It's just like we cannot avoid problems, we cannot avoid complexity, we can try our best to, but it's just like,
Mhm.
look, like, not everything's black and white, things are a lot of gray, you know what I mean? Like, either side, of course there's going to be some pros and some cons, like,
Yeah.
honestly, there's just going to be, that's just how, human nature is. Nothing and no one is perfect, and so that's why I'm just
Yeah.
like, we need to begin to have grace on, situations that we do not understand, or that we have never been in, or that we don't know the full
Mhm.
story to, and it blows
Yeah.
my mind when we're bashing a mugshot, you know, or like when we're seeing
And
someone like, tweak out on the street, and, we're just
and we
like,
judge them, or we
yes,
have our opinions about them. But it's just like, well, you don't know. That person on the street was in fucking the Vietnam War, and
right,
when he got back, he tried to get help from the VA, but there was no room in the VA because the VA is always overcrowded.
yeah,
So he ended up going to the streets. And what does he do? Because he has PTSD and he's going through war in his head still, he
right,
finds some drugs to help
exactly,
calm down that fire,
right,
right?
right.
And it's like,
And it's
is
like it's
is
not
it's not
regulated.
right for it's not right for veterans to be on the street, but they are.
Right,
And it's not right for veterans to be in jail because they're having mental health crisis, but they are.
right.
So like we can really stop with the what's right and what's wrong. It's really is just what is best for you. Like what do you
Bingo.
want to do in this life? What do you want to be in this life? And how
Mhm.
can you be the best at it?
Yeah,
That's
because
all
it's
it
just
really
like,
should be.
right. Because it's like, it's not like a lot of them, it's not like a lot of people didn't want to do things the quote unquote right way.
Well,
They
right.
just
Right.
couldn't. It's too
Yeah.
expensive to do things the right way.
They don't
It's
have the opportunity to do things the right way.
exactly. And
Mhm.
something that you had just said, it blows my mind that incarceration is a symptom of mental health. That blows my mind. Like, people
Yeah.
do not need to be, people who are suffering from mental illness do not need to be thrown behind bars like they are the problem. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
that is a human being that needs help, support, you know, um,
Like care and love. Like
yes,
not to be thrown in a cage with criminals,
right,
right? And I I mean we're both criminal justice majors. So, but like for the listeners, right? Hair flip. For listeners, I think it was like around the 70s or 80s, around there, it's when they started to get rid of mental hospitals, like mental
yeah,
institutions. And then that's when like it became the police's job to intervene with mental health issues.
Mhm.
But police were never trained and are still not trained really
Right.
to deal with mental health crises.
Right.
So what do? They just fill them up. They just take them in
Yeah.
jail, put them in a cell, and what does that do? Make the department more money eventually, which what gives them a bigger paycheck. So they're not even trying to help these people.
Right.
They're like, oh, oh, are you on something? Are you having a mental break?
Yeah.
Get
They
in,
as in the
get in.
government. They as in the government.
Mhm. Yes, the
Cause
government.
yeah, cause it's just like there's a cause it's like they definitely could, you know, implement, mental health training as a part of, like the officers, training.
Mhm.
But they're purposely not doing that. They know,
Mm-mm.
like, and it's like they know these officers are just going to do what they were trained and do what they know best because they don't know how to do other because nothing is teaching them other. And it's just
Mhm.
like, these corporations see that and they're just like, oh, well, you know what I mean? They're
Oh,
just like,
oh well. I'm still getting a check every month.
exactly. And they're
So,
like, the officer is the one that's going to take any backlash, if anything.
mhm.
Not
Mhm.
me, the private corporation who's really behind all these things. It's like humans
Yeah.
are people to heal. We are not objects to fix. It is not
Mhm.
a
Mm.
throw someone behind bars and that's going to fix them. No, it's just going to deter, an ongoing underlining issue. You know what I mean? It's just because
Right.
it's like most people within 68% of current individuals who are incarcerated will be back on the street within 3 years.
Yep.
72% within 6 years
Yep.
and 83%
Yep.
within 10 years. So, literally, most people who are currently incarcerated will be back on the streets. And I'm just like, and it's recidivism because it's just like they're more likely to go back. And I'm just like, we're seeing that
Right.
this way of fixing is not working. So, let's try something
It's
else.
not a fix at all. And you're right, like the
Exactly.
recidivism rate, it just goes back to the money. It's like, okay, once we get them, especially if we get them in young, we get a minor in jail for a couple of years. Oh, you're gonna be making money off of him the rest of his life. And it's
Exactly.
usually men, and I hate to say that,
But it's
but it is
true.
usually men, especially men of color.
Mhm.
If oh oh that like makes me think about the Central Park Five,
Mm.
how they ruin those boys' lives. Just ruin
Yeah.
their lives for what? Because they just needed to solve a case so they could make their money. They That was not the right thing to do,
Hmm.
and that was not the best thing to do. So who's deciding? Because
Right.
I'm a judge. You were wrong,
Hmm.
but someone told them that this is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
We really need to question who is who's creating these rules and why are
Right.
we even listening to them?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like,
And
what authority do they have?
not to exactly. And not to I mean I when I Aaron Lavender, I used to hate men. I was so attracted so attracted to them. But used to
Mhm.
hate them because of like all the trauma and just how they treat other people. Just my experiences with
Yes.
males growing up. I just grew up hating men. So
Mhm.
I don't hate men anymore. So when I say this next statement, I want folks to know that this is not a bashing statement. It is just a literal reality, um, that those private corporations are male dominated. Okay,
Yes.
they are male
Mhm.
dominated. Okay, and I'm just gonna say that right there.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna put that.
Leave that there. Leave that fact
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I was like, that's someone needs to hear that, to sit on that, to go do their own research.
Mhm.
Someone needs to hear that because it is just a reality, and us not acknowledging that reality, it's not going anywhere. It's just like
Mm-mm.
it's not going anywhere whether we realize it's reality or not. And I'm assuming like a lot of people listening were never told this reality because they don't want us to know. They
Mhm.
don't want people to know. you know?
Oh, it would ruin the whole. I mean, the system, the experiment is failing, obviously.
Yes.
But if they knew everything, if
Hmm.
ooh,
Yeah, if society knew
people,
everything what's going on, oh yeah, we would all revolt. Like I just,
yeah, we
yeah,
really, really would.
yeah,
And I I really love our major. I feel like it's helped us have a different perspective on life
yeah,
and people because we are socialized to believe, oh, you don't want to be like that guy on the corner asking for money. Oh,
right.
oh, you don't want to be a burnout and not have a job or not have a family or do this or that.
Hmm.
But it's like if there are people out there like that, then there are people who are in different positions who can help those people.
Right,
And that's what we should be doing.
right.
Instead, they just want to make money off of people.
Yes,
And I
yes.
think and I think more people are starting to catch on to that. And more people like us, younger people, we're not willing to work at a corporate job and take verbal abuse or even sexual abuse or whatever, abuse of our
Right.
time and our energy
Hmm.
for a maybe promise of social security and a pension or something in 20 years if
Right.
we do good.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
we're just not we're not buying it anymore.
Right. We're done with the
And
fluff.
we're done with the fluff.
We're done with
I
it.
I see I see how hard my parents worked over like my lifetime, and I'm so proud that they did it because it helped me be set up and
Yeah.
gave me a good amount of privilege myself.
Yeah.
But like to follow exactly what they did,
Right.
it's just not the same. It's not the same time.
Right.
It's not the 80s and the 90s where you can buy a house and start a family making or like just having a regular job.
Right.
Now you have to be making 80K a year,
Hmm.
100K a year, well, however much, have a joint income to
Right.
buy a house.
Right. Right. And on top of that, it's not like the rent's not going to go up. The rent's going to go up.
Uh,
It just
it's
happens.
always gonna go up.
It's always going to go up. It's
Right.
things just can never be satisfied. And like you were saying,
Mm-mm.
it's like we're tired of the fluff. Like for the folks that are like in government who are like that were born in like the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, I'm just like we're the young generation. Like millennials and Gen Zs, especially Gen Zs,
Hmm.
we're tired of it. It's just like
Yeah.
we're not gonna put up with this, and it's just like I
No,
feel like
we're not gonna play the game.
right, we're not gonna
Mm-mm.
play the game. And it's yeah, because the criminal justice, for example, like the criminal justice system, and I noticed like me and you, we're not bashing the criminal justice system, we're just calling out
No.
the private corporations, what they're doing. That is, and
Hmm.
it's like that's what they want. Like they want they want people to bash the police or the criminal justice system as long as they're getting the attention off of the private corporations. That's all they care
Hmm.
about. They're like they don't care who gets hurt in the process. I was like
Right.
they don't care about police. They don't. The police are only a pawn for them. To take
They're so expendable. Oh my gosh.
exactly. I'm like they don't.
You're so right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
system doesn't care about police. The system doesn't care about citizens. It's just the system is owned, and it's not even necessarily the system. The system is also a pawn of these private
Mm.
corporations. And it's just like
Snaps.
I'm trying to change
Snaps.
my verbiage and vocabulary because they want us to just say the system. They don't want us to acknowledge the
What the
root
system is,
of
or
thing. Yes, like where's this all
yeah.
coming from? You know what I mean? If something's an issue, let's
Mm-hmm.
get to the root to it to really deal with it. The best way to kill a tree is to attack the roots, not the branches. The branches are going to grow back.
Mm-hmm.
The branch,
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, Lavender, we are
You're
so
good.
criminal justice majors. We are so criminal justice majors.
I
I
know
do have
we
a
could I could
question.
literally talk about the court system and incarceration.
All
That could
day.
be a whole nother episode, honestly.
Yes,
If
we
we
should
want to
do
like deep
it.
dive, we
Yeah.
could do that. I would
Because
love to have a criminal justice episode.
Yeah, because literally, like, honestly, like, it's because like season three is it's a whole different level. That was my whole thing. It's like
Mhm.
season three, because season one and two were more like topic based things. Now I want to take season three and season four to like discussion based things. That's why
Yeah.
the titles look different than they did in season one. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
season one, it would look like the title would be perfectionism, self-love journey, this and that, which is fine, which is great. I just wanted to do something different, so that's why we see titles now like toxic femininity, you know um
Like a
the
broader
best decision versus
topic
the worst.
discussion.
Yes, more broad. There we go.
Yes.
More broad discussion titles. And
Yes.
so it's like I would love to Aaron, the door is literally always open to you. I want to get a police officer on here to talk about police mental health, because I do know they see like a lot of dead bodies, a lot of like just
Yes.
trauma and stuff like that. And so I would love to. There's someone that I mean, I want to like call the sheriff's department, but I don't want to get in trouble. Am I like, because I don't want them to, I mean, because I'm scared that it's going to be kind of like a 911 call, like, hey, can I order pizza? Calling, and then they're going to be like, why are you
That's
calling with
so
this?
funny.
That's what I'm just like, I think I'm going to like risk it. I mean, because I don't want to like waste their time, because I don't know if I'm able to call. Am I able to call and ask
So
for an
you
interview?
wouldn't call you wouldn't call 911. You would probably just call
I mean,
like
the
the
sheriff's
sheriff's
department.
office.
Okay.
Yeah, you would call the sheriff's department. Um, you'd probably like talk to a receptionist,
Yeah.
or would probably be better to if you actually go to a department and
Oh,
just like there's gonna be cops walking around everywhere
everywhere.
somewhere.
I love a man in
Yeah,
uniform.
don't we all?
I know,
Mm,
right? I
yes,
know,
please.
right?
Fresh pressed.
Yes.
But yeah, I think if you like just went up there and be like, "Hi guys, I have a podcast and I'd love just to have a conversation with you guys if you're up to it. You
Yeah.
don't have to talk about anything you don't want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Blah blah blah."
Yeah.
Yeah, but also my mom's a police officer. She's been a
Hmm.
cop for like
Does she
22
still like
years.
have like a couple of like police officer friends? I'm sure she does.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Can you ask
Yeah, I
for
can.
me?
I would
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And ask like multiple um I'm not saying like multiple has to be on the episode. I just would love to, have at least like, well, obviously, would love for you to be a part of the episode now that you said you were willing to. Um, so, since it'll be us two, maybe like two others,
Yeah.
two, like two other like officers, because me and you aren't officers. Um,
Yes.
yes, so that'll be. Yeah, I
Ooh.
would just kind of like that to talk about like police mental health, because I just feel like that is something that's neglected, just like veterans'
Mhm.
mental health.
Mhm.
I was like, we applaud and salute them on their way to battle, but it's just
But when they
like,
get
oh,
home,
when they get home, mm, we're just like,
mm,
oh well, up to yourself.
r-
Oh well,
right, up to you.
who
Like,
cares if he helped
go
us?
find yourself a fucking job so you can
Right.
keep your house. And if you and God forbid that you have any injuries when you come
It,
home and you're
yeah.
unable to work,
Mm, yeah.
it doesn't
It's not
it
okay.
doesn't make sense to me. If we're
It
gonna
doesn't make
send
sense.
our own citizens off to war
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have anything for them when they get back,
Right.
like
Right.
you can't as a veteran, you should be able to stay anywhere.
Right.
You should be able to eat
Honestly,
anywhere.
where's that
You should
honor? Where's that honor that we
right.
gave them while they were on their way to battle?
Yes, where's that pride and respect for them?
Yeah.
Like they did. They risked their lives for us.
Mm-hmm.
And what do they get in return? The worst care possible.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst care.
Right.
And that's just not okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, Lavender, with that being
Yes,
said, here
Josiah.
let me check something really quick. Okay. So yes, with that being said, okay, so we're almost wrapping up the episode, but I did have a question for you.
Mhm.
Okay, so what was
Yes.
the change like from Aaron to Lavender? Because your name, you
Mhm.
went by Aaron, and now you go by Lavender. So
Yes.
the why?
The why. So this uh the nickname was given to me by one of my managers who I worked, like one of my first like hemp and cannabis
Hmm.
managers. I worked at this spot in Dallas and then opened another store in Houston. So I started working there in Dallas and I was training under this manager, and most people at that location, they did have nicknames.
Oh,
Like one girl who I'll never forget, her nickname was Knives.
yeah,
Love
I
that.
like
Love you,
that. I
Knives.
love
Shout
that.
out. So cool. And I don't know, like me and that manager got really close. And then when I was on my way out, like moving back to Houston to work at the Houston location, she was just like, I've been thinking about this for a while. You can take it or leave it, but I'd love to give you the nickname Lavender. You just seem like a lavender.
Yeah,
It's
it
very
fits you.
you,
Fits you.
soft but feminine, whatever the fuck. And I was like,
Fits you.
you know what? I love that. I
Yes.
love that. I feel like it fits. I really don't like giving people my real name anyways,
Right, right.
usually, especially like if I'm going out or working in a service industry. Just
Hmm.
like, you don't need to know my name. So yes, my name is
Right.
Lavender. And they're always like, your mom gave you that name? And I'm like, yep, she
Yup.
sure did. Sure did.
I
And
love
like working,
that.
yes, and working in the hemp and cannabis industry,
Hmm.
it's a flower. Working with
Yeah.
flowers is it's just a cute
Lavender fits you.
nod, right?
It
I
definitely
think
fits
so
you.
too.
Yeah, it definitely fits you. I love that. We love that for you.
Thank you. It
Okay.
was really
So I know we're wrapping up here, running out of time. So I'm sure we all want to thank special guest Lavender, and Lavender will be back. I know this was a powerful
yes,
episode.
but no, let's all thank our host, Josias. Are you kidding? The fabulous queen herself. Ah,
You're
just
amazing.
amazing.
Yes. With that being said, folks, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Vulnerability Time. If
Time.
no one has told you today, folks, that you are loved, please allow yourself to be the first. And then allow
Mm-hmm.
me and Lavender to be the second. To say, you are
Yeah.
loved, I life you. Not just I love
Mm.
you, I life you. And I send you
Give
with
you life.
amazement. Folks, know that you have overcome 100% of your bad days because you are still breathing. Winning is not a
Yes.
feeling, winning is an action. Yeah.
Hashtag winning. And
Hashtag
don't
winning.
forget to give yourself grace, you guys. I've been
Yes.
trying to work on that myself.
Same.
It's hard times. The planets are in, they're all a mess. So if you guys are feeling really stressed this month, just know that it will end very soon. I feel like the end of the year is going to be really good for a lot of people.
Hmm.
So just be patient with yourself, give yourself grace, and just keep living one day at a
Yes.
time,
One day at a time. One day
because
at a
tomorrow is
time.
not promised.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Tell the system, not the system. Tell because
Fuck the
they're just
system.
like, work hard until you're 60 years old, then you can live. Just yeah, let me be quiet. Be
No,
quiet.
I'm gonna just shoo
Yeah.
that to the side.
All right, let me end
No,
this
no
episode.
toxic, no toxic in my life.
See y'all next episode, folks.